friends, welcome to today's video. It's only been a week since I posted, but I feel like it's been forever. So I'm excited to sit down and actually film another video. It's funny when you get into the habit of doing something all the time and then you have a small break from it, albeit a week, how things feel different when you sit down to do it again. Today's video is on the book called Drowning in Love by Kelsie Rae. It's part of the Written in the Stars series. What a great premise. I was so excited to jump in and read this one in particular because it's about the zodiac sign Cancer. And I'm a Cancer. In fact, today is my birthday as I'm sitting down to film this video. So I loved reading this with all the Cancer type stuff that Kelsie infused. And I'm also excited to read the other books in this Written in the Stars series. Kelsie is a new to me author. This is the first book I read. What a great introduction to her writing. The very first thing when you open Drowning in Love is the series forward, and I love that they started the book this way. I'm assuming it's in all the books, and I thought I would read it to you so you would know what to expect. Dear readers, do you believe in destiny, or do you believe you drive your own fate when it comes to matters of the heart? The idea for Written in the Stars series came about one afternoon as I was thinking about how intertwined we are with the universe and the cosmos. We are made of stardust after all. It got me thinking about astrology and whether something as celestial as our zodiac signs influence how we behave in love. Some may call it pseudoscience, while others use their horoscopes daily to make major life, love, and career decisions. That's how this series was born. This book is about Nora and Gage. They meet, which was really funny and kind of surprising. They meet by chance. They're at a football game. Gage is kind of drunk and notices her and thinks she's really pretty and wants to talk to her. Norah is there with her brother and her nephew, her brother's son, a young child. I wondered if there was a little more about the brother's story, and I can't remember his name right now, because it was very interesting how it just seemed like there was more, so I'm going to have to research that a little bit. They have a very funny interaction, and like I said, Gage is a little drunk, and he's there with his friends. It's not a little interaction, it turns into this very big interaction. Like I said, they're at a football game, there's a million people around, and it's like this wow moment. And then he goes to go someplace, and he says he'll be right back, whatever it was. You know, I don't like giving it all away, I'm trying to tell you the basis of it. And he doesn't come back. And I was like, oh, well, I thought that was the guy. What happened? So that was interesting to me, and we don't know why he didn't come back. The story progresses with Nora is an event planner, and she works with her very good friend, Jem, who's actually Gemini. They are planning an event, which is a singles cruise. How fun is that, right? And it's for people that are serious. They want people to come that are serious about meeting their significant other. So of course they attend the cruise, right? They go on the cruise, and lo and behold, guess who shows up? They're both very surprised to see each other. She's a little put off because she's like, you totally blew me off after this whole very elaborate first introduction to each other. But they clear that up pretty quickly, and it was totally understandable. There was a miscommunication, and then there they are, and they're on this cruise, and it's like, okay, what's going to happen now? Because we've talked about that this is about the zodiac and astrology signs. Is that the same thing? It's about our star signs. I love how Kelsie brought in Nora's star sign of being a Cancer into this story. I loved reading about myself in Norah. She talks about what our sign tells us about ourselves. And you know, I don't necessarily always believe what the astrological chart says about me as a Cancer, but I thought I would read specifically what is brought up in this book. And it says that we are loyal, passionate, soft, caring, emotional, stubborn, and resentful. accurate. Although I wouldn't say that I'm stubborn. Maybe my husband might tell you differently, but I don't know if I don't think I'm stubborn. I think I'm pretty amenable. But I loved that part in identifying with Norah, knowing that she was the same way. Interestingly, that they bring up that there's some astrological event that is supposed to be happening while they are on this cruise. Jem brings it up to Norah. The stars are aligning, and supposedly if she meets someone and interacts with this person when the eclipse is happening, there's supposed to be an eclipse happening, that's supposed to be like her person, and the stars will have aligned to bring them together at that moment. Well, and she's on this cruise and Gage shows up, and turns out that Gage is a Leo, which I guess aren't good for Cancers. And I don't know a bunch about that either. I think it's really fascinating, quite honestly, but I don't think my husband's a Scorpio, and I don't want to know if we're not a good mix, because like, I'm not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. So I don't know if that would behoove me to know that information, but in any case, that is part of this book. And it's funny because, you know, Norah doesn't sit there and like hold a lot of water in all of that kind of stuff, but yet she's got Jem telling her this stuff. So she's like, it gets in her head a little bit. Really kind of interesting and a fun way to have a story go. Nora and Gage are totally attracted to each other. I loved the banter between them. We get chapters from both of their points of view, which I love. Gage, I liked Gage. He definitely had some swoony moments. My favorite part of this book was, so they are attending a talk. You know, there's all these events going on this cruise. Of course, because Norah has planned it, she is, you know, going to these events and making sure that, you know, the people that are there have everything they need and all of that. So it's this one event is called, I wrote the event down. It was called Build Your Passion with Your Partner, and it was by a well-known doctor that was giving this workshop. She kind of picks Nora and Gage out of the attendees, out of this huge crowd of people, and she's like, we're going to talk to you two. I loved that part. I'm kind of into all of that, and figuring out where your emotions are coming from and how your past affects your future and all that kind of stuff. So that part was really interesting to me. It really got into what she talks about and how she gets them each to be vulnerable and expose themselves to each other, even though they barely know each other, but yet are open. But are they open to meeting somebody else? I mean, there's all of this, right, that goes into it. I loved that whole part because it really showed us who Gage was as a person and what he could bring to the table in there if they were going to have a relationship, and where he was coming from. And then it showed us all that from Nora's perspective. Loved that. To me, that was the meat of the story. It also was a part that made me kind of emotional because it was what happened after that. It got them as characters really thinking about it because they know they like each other, but they're kind of afraid. I mean, Nora's a little gun shy about him because of what he did after they first met and the way they met. And, you know, Gage is kind of like, well, I really like her, but is it the right time? And am I ready for a relationship and all of that? And he doesn't think he ever wants to get married, and yet he's on the singles cruise, and there was a lot to them. And then after that, and I don't like to give it all away, but they have a moment, and it affects them both really profoundly. And why am I crying? And she talks about, Nora says she cries all the time. And I was like, girl, same. I cry in almost every video. Why is this making me cry? Anyway, I loved that because there was this depth of emotion that Kelsie was able to write that I really connected to. And like when a book can take me there, love, love, love that. And I loved that part, even though it was a little worrisome because I didn't know if there was going to be a happily ever after. So I got a little worried. But let me just say that I'm definitely a fan of Kelsie's writing now, and I loved this book. Let me know if you have read any of the other Written in the Stars books. Let me know if you have read Kelsie's other books. I would love to hear and get recommendations on where I should start with her. I would appreciate you taking a second to like the video and also subscribe. It not only helps me and my channel, but it will also help Kelsie get visibility on YouTube and this video get shown to more people. I hope you are all doing well, you are happy and safe wherever you are in the world. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.